Welcome everybody to the Retirement Blueprint. I'm your host, Paul Gebhard, with my co-host, Mr. Tim Lofton. Welcome back to the show, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing great, Paul.
It's good to see you, my friend.
Happy to be here.
It's good. It's good. Listen, we're going to do those things called retirement plans, right?
Oh, yes.
And we got to have that. I mean, it's an important thing, right? I mean, let's be serious here. I mean, bottom line is if you don't have a plan, chances are the IRS has got one for you.
They do indeed. Mm-hmm. Plan by default.
Yeah, and I don't think that's one we're going to like.
No.
So, you know what was interesting? We were talking previously about, the holidays coming up. And you were mentioning to me, typically the holidays are a wonderful time to get the family together and get that estate plan.
It is. For whatever reason, it seems like when the holidays come that people actually get so complacent and they want to kick the can down the road, and they're like, well, we'll deal with that next year, or we'll, after the holidays.
Right.
And what they're really missing out on is estate planning is a family thing. Every estate plan we've ever done, one of the things that always comes out of it is typically a family meeting. Now, I'm not talking about, the folks at home telling their kids everything that they have and showing them, what their net worth is. What I'm talking about is how things are supposed to go. And making sure, we talk about, our estate planning attorney says this all the time. She says, your job is to assign roles, to assign jobs. One of those might be in being an executor. One of them might be that healthcare power of attorney. Each of those roles has a special skill set that you're looking for. So, the financial power of attorney, for example, should be good with money, should be good with technology, should be, very organized. But the healthcare power of attorney, that person should be level-headed, very calm in the sense of, when things are really going crazy. Mom and dad are in the hospital, right?
Right.
So you've got to have somebody that is very even keel. And so these jobs, those types of roles, aren't just a document. It's not just something you write down on a piece of paper. I'm going to make my son Bobby my, healthcare power of attorney. There's thought that needs to go in this. Yeah. And as we describe those jobs, most of the time people, that son or daughter pops in their head and they're like, well, that's definitely, this person. But isn't it important to make sure that son or daughter knows what their job's going to be, to actually have somebody explain it to them? And what better time than over the holidays?
Yeah.
When everybody's together and you can kind of have that family meeting, and this is a great time to do estate planning. It really is.
I was wondering, Tim, how often do you meet with families that maybe don't have an estate plan, or maybe they haven't updated their estate plan in decades? Do you see that? Is this a frequent overlooked issue?
A majority of the time.
Really?
A majority of the time. Very rarely do we get somebody in who actually has an updated estate plan. It's usually one of two or three things. Either they have a plan that's 20 years old. I'm talking about, they have a will, they're in their 60s, their kids are in their 30s, and they still have in their will who's supposed to be the guardian of their kids if they die. So it's just they had one when their family first started, they haven't updated it since. Or they have a plan that they did online through a legal Zoom or some, and it's not a plan. It's not. Did they save some dollars? Yes. But is it going to cost them? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've seen that time and time again. Or the third way, which is usually that's why they're in our office. And the motivator for them to come in our office for estate planning is usually life experience.
Really?
Typically something's happened, and that has gotten them to the point of, oh my gosh, we need to do this.
Yeah.
And it's usually one of two things. Either they had an experience with their parents maybe, and things went really, really well, and they had a trust, and they had all the documents, and everything was done, and they're like, it went so easy, and we want that to happen for us. Or it was the exact opposite. It was a complete train wreck, and they said, we're not doing that to our kids. We're going to make sure and get this squared away.
I was reading someplace, Tim, that you only need to trust if you're wealthy. Is that true?
No. No, you need a trust if you want your estate and the things that you have to go through a process that doesn't include the courts. Okay? Bypassing probate and having the court in charge of what's going on in your estate versus you being in charge. It makes it easier for your kids. You know, it comes down to the definition of estate planning.
Okay.
And this is our definition. It's a lifelong process. That's the first part. It's not an event. It's a lifelong process in which you take care of the ones you love when you're living and after you've passed away. It gives what you want to who you want, when you want, the way you want, with the least amount of fees possible. That's it, in a nutshell. That's why trust planning makes sense. That's why having those key documents makes sense. You've got to get that in place. It protects you, it protects your family.
So what's the alternative? So let's say someone doesn't do a trust. Let's say, you know, they don't. And it goes through, what, the probate process? How much does that typically cost an estate?
Typically 4 to 5%.
Really?
That's on average. I mean, there's certainly exceptions to that rule, but typically 4 to 5%. I mean, here's the math, Paul. You take somebody that has a $500,000 estate, and you say it's going to be $15,000 to $20,000 for them to go through probate, versus they could sit down with our estate planning attorney and for about $1,250 have all these problems fixed.
Wow, that's a big, that's something you definitely want to invest in, I would imagine. So let's say folks out there in the Dayton area are looking at getting an estate plan.
Sure.
Or maybe updating it, maybe over the holidays, to your point. Can they reach out to your team?
They certainly can. For anyone that wants to call today, we will do this for you. We will sit down, we'll take a look at your estate, and we will get you in touch with our estate planning attorney and get things squared away to where your plan will be ready for you and your family. There's no reason not to do it. It's very inexpensive, and for what you're going to walk away with from a peace of mind standpoint, it's well worth it. This is how you protect yourself and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a complimentary review to be able to put together that estate plan. Tim and his team are offering resources to you. Think about the alternatives to this, right? You don't want to have the burden of your estate being settled with your family having a battle to try to figure out what to do, who gets what and when. When the courts get involved, it gets costly and it takes time. You know, I've heard of cases where assets are frozen until it's resolved, and you don't want that to happen. So if you don't have an estate plan, please reach out to Tim and his team today. Maybe you have one that hasn't been updated. Again, Tim and his team are available to work with you on getting that estate plan, because we all know the holidays should be about peace of mind. And what greater gift to give your family than that? We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these short messages.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life, and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retirement Blueprint Plan. I am your host, Paul Gebhard, with my co-host, Mr. Timothy Lofton. Tim, we were talking a little bit about the holidays. We kind of give it a theme to this.
Yeah.
Because, think about it. We talked about peace of mind and family, and, that's what the holidays are, right?
Sure.
And we talk about these things. And I know there's good folks out there. They have a charitable heart. They want to do good things in their community, and they want to help, right? And part of their planning is that. Are there some basic rules? Are there some do's and don'ts when it comes to charitable giving?
Well, I think at the end of the year, charitable giving, that is kind of the sweet spot. I think charities know that as well.
Yeah.
They definitely are reaching out because they want to hopefully be considered as people are giving dollars away. And for retirees, that you have a real opportunity from a tax optimization standpoint with charitable giving, and that is that with folks that are already at age 70 and a half and started taking the required minimum distributions, or now age 72 with the new law and taking their required minimum distributions, and they're charitably minded, they're giving money away anyway. It's a matter of using those required minimum distributions as the gift versus taking it out of cash. And so that is a great way to offset, still to give to charity, but to offset the taxes on that required minimum distribution. It's smart planning. It's one of those do this, not that.
Yeah.
And in some cases, we've had clients that now give more money away because they're able to basically give tax-free dollars away versus taxable. And so it's had quite a nice impact in charitable giving in the Dayton area with what we've been able to help clients to navigate.
That's good stuff. And I know that's a big thing to you, is community involvement, right?
Sure.
And helping families and organizations around Dayton. Let's say somebody hasn't established the tax side of the charitable giving and understanding something like that. That is a big part of the reason why we plan to begin with, right? I mean, that is just one other phase to the planning process, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, we talk a lot on the show about, the 5 cornerstones of planning, right? But there's so many offshoots from that. We talk, with our clients a lot about health, self-care,
Yes.
Things like massage and exercise and diet. All of that is an important part because it's health and wealth.
Right.
Right. One without the other doesn't do you any good.
So true.
If you have all the money in the world but you're not healthy, you can't spend it.
Right.
And if you have all the health in the world and no money, you can't do anything.
True.
So health and wealth go hand in hand, and I think a lot of times that's left out of the planning process, where we're so focused on the normal, the documents, and getting the plan in place that sometimes we forget about things like health and charitable giving and faith and so many other aspects to the retirement plan that are really important. Because again, this is a comprehensive plan we're trying to put together here, Paul. This isn't just, smoke and mirrors and, invest this and do a little bit of that. This is doing life with people and changing lives.
And you're talking about it's not a one-size-fits-all, right?
No.
No need for a cookie cutter because they're not cookies.
No.
Right? Let me ask you this. So when it comes down to the environment, when people come to meet with you, what are the things they should bring? Because we notice there's a lot of aspects of this financial plan we're building. What are some of the things folks should have ready when they come to see you in that first consultation?
That's how we make it so easy, Paul. When they sign up, when they call today, they're going to get an email, and it's going to have a list of things to bring. So they don't have to know what to bring. They don't have to remember. It's going to literally give them a step-by-step process. Here's exactly what you need to bring to that first meeting so that we can sit down and really start to get to know them, so that we can start to formulate and build their very own retirement blueprint.
And so let me ask you this question. How important, because there's a word out there today that a lot of folks are talking about, fiduciary. So how important is it for people to look for someone who is a fiduciary?
Well, the idea of the fiduciary is pretty simple. I mean, it's the basics are we're putting the client's needs ahead of our own, ahead of our company, ahead of anything other than what is center focused for the client and their best interest. And so that's an important thing that I would think anybody working with an advisor would want.
Yes.
Whether that would be their estate planning attorney or a CPA or a wealth manager or a planning person, that they know that the advice that they're being given is the best advice for them. And so often we just don't see that.
Yeah.
We see where, and I don't know necessarily that, other companies are out there doing something malicious.
Yeah, right.
I just don't think that they're looking at the whole picture, and that's where people end up with the wrong things. They get a bad taste in their mouth, and the next thing you know, there's a Google search story about how whatever it is a bad idea.
Right.
And then somebody else that could actually help reads that story and then doesn't do what they should be doing because somebody else had a bad experience, when at the end of the day it wasn't the person, it wasn't the product, it was the advice that they were given. It was the wrong advice or the wrong product. That's what we try to avoid. That's what being a fiduciary is all about.
And so what do you say to folks out there that, let's say they had a lifelong advisor, someone who's helped them through the accumulation phase?
Sure.
Is it important for them to at least consider a second opinion? Tim?
I think that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to lose with getting a second opinion?
Good point.
I mean, we tell people all the time, you're really in pretty good shape. There is other groups that we know, that I know, that do a great job. And when we see those plans, I mean, we'll tell people, listen, unless you just don't like them, staying where you are is probably not a bad idea. There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of that fiduciary role. If they're good where they are, then they're good where they are. A lot of times they're not. And the difficulty is, I mean, everybody that comes into our office has the same story. They're going to be breaking up with somebody to work with us.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Sure.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
And, and our job is to simply share the facts. Here's where you are. Here's where we think it should be better. By the way, who you're with didn't bring any of these things up. They haven't fixed any of these things. They haven't had any of these conversations with you. They haven't asked any of these questions. And you're with them. And we're asking you, what do you think is best for you? A relationship and somebody that sends you a Christmas card every year that you've known for a long time, or your financial future? Which one of those? Because one of those is going to have to win in your mind.
Right.
Right? Either you're going to pick that relationship, or you're going to pick what's best for you and your family. And we don't have control over that.
Yeah.
That's in their court.
That's up to them.
But it happens a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's something you all got to think about too. Think about that. It's a relationship. We understand you build friendships over the years, but you have to ask yourself, is this the best person for my best interest in the business of my retirement? I like to equate it to like the difference between doctors, You switch from a pediatrician at some point over to a general practitioner. Why do you do that? The person that was advising you during accumulation may not be the person best suited to be the specialist for you in retirement, right, Tim?
Exactly. Well, it's changing phases. They're going from that accumulation phase to distribution phase, and the numbers are staggering. About 95% of advisors are accumulation advisors. That's
Right.
what they're good at.
Yep.
About 5% of advisors are especially in the actual retirement planning and distribution phase.
Yep.
Not unlike most specialists. You brought up the doctors. Not everybody's a heart surgeon.
No.
Right? There's a very few of those, but they're really, really good at it.
Right.
You're not going to go to your general practitioner to get heart surgery.
No, you're not.
And you don't go to an accumulation advisor to get retirement planning advice.
That's absolutely true. And to that point, if somebody wants that second opinion, if somebody wants to make sure their plan's on track, they can reach out to you today, correct?
They can. You have no downside. Come, let us buy you a cup of coffee, sit around our table, get to know us. Let us get to know you. Take a chance that maybe what you have is not as good as you think it is. If it's not, don't you want to know? This is your opportunity to find that out. We'll tell you. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, we're going to share alternatives and solutions to make sure that your retirement is the best retirement it can be. When do you want to know the answer to that? Today or 20 years from now? Take action.
Yeah, and to do that, all you have to do is pick up the phone, to Tim's point. Complimentary review. There's only so many spaces available, folks, because, again, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into you. 855-684-3485. A phone call to get that peace of mind as you go into the holidays. To check all those boxes in retirement off that you've been wanting to check off. It's time to make those the priority right now. Right now. 855-684-3485. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Unexpected events, like a global pandemic, can turn our world upside down overnight. They can cause volatile shifts that may cause you to question the confidence in your current retirement plan. As a retiree or a pre-retiree, knowing you have a plan that can withstand the worst economic conditions is vital. Contact us today for a complimentary review. Get a second opinion and learn more about our trademark process, the Retirement Blueprint. Let us plan your tomorrow today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retirement Blueprint Show. I'm your host, Paul Gebhard, with my co-host, Mr. Tim Lofton. Tim, I'm having a great time, my friend. And, you know, the bottom line is this. We're making a difference in people's futures. I mean, because you care. That's what this is all about. I once heard a statement. It's one of my favorites. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And I think that's poignant because you have a passion for the people of Dayton.
We're trying to bring clarity into a world of chaos, right? I mean, you turn on the TV today and you watch the news, and how could you not be worried? How could you not be scared?
Yeah.
Right? And most of that fear comes from the unknown.
Yes,
it really does.
Yeah.
And so this is a piece that you can eliminate the fear on. You have all the pieces there to work with, right? You have, you've got your tax person out there, that's a puzzle piece. You have your estate planning attorney, that's a puzzle piece. You have your wealth management person, that's a puzzle piece. But you know what you don't have? A complete picture.
Right.
You have all these puzzle pieces, but they're not put together. That's what we want to do. That's what the Retirement Blueprint is all about. It is about taking all those pieces, putting them together, and making a picture, because the picture is what's going to actually show you the outcome of retirement and make everything work together. How do you want to start out 2022? We've got a new year coming.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same old, same old?
Right.
Do you want to start out another year not having answers, another year without a plan, another year without doing that estate work? You have that list, and I understand we're busy, and this is a busy time of year. When does it get to the top of the list?
True.
When does it become important enough to you to take action? That's the question.
Yeah. I just, I have one personal question. I just want to ask everybody out there, look, please, don't let the term too busy be the reason you don't retirement plan. I mean, that won't suit you. It's not going to go well. I can promise you. Don't let that be the situation. So the good folks that are out there, they're geared up. They're ready to make some differences in their life. They now know, you guys have a nice little agenda you're going to sit out there for them so they know what to expect when they come in.
Sure.
And make them comfortable. And that's important, right? Because to your point, it's a chaotic world. There's a lot of anxiety around that. And let's face it, talking about our finances is an intimate conversation, right, Tim?
It is an intimate conversation. And Paul, I'd say it's even more than that. I don't know that folks are often as scared about having the conversation as they are that somebody's going to try and sell them something.
True. True.
I think there's a reluctance that, we're going to go talk, we're going to go down to Tim's office, and, the team down there is going to try and sell them something. It's just not what we do. We don't have to.
Yeah.
The plan is what it is. Our job is to listen and to put a plan together that's right for them. And it's going to be perfect. They get to decide whether or not they want it. That's not our decision. We're not here. We don't sell timeshares. We're here to put retirement plans together for people.
Yeah.
And so we do that. And people are going to have the opportunity to look at it and make a decision for themselves, one way or the other.
That's good. That's powerful. And I like how you tie in it together. You talked about the puzzle pieces, because that's a powerful thing to understand. Is you may have folks out there doing this for you and doing that for you, and things just don't seem to be coming together the way you were hoping they would. Or maybe you feel like there's some gaps, there's some missing areas. And that's what Tim and his team wants to do, right, Tim?
Exactly.
Bring all that together so that it makes sense. Because you can't have estate planning when you don't have Social Security optimization, you don't have effective tax planning, right? Income. How do we guarantee an income in retirement?
Simple spousal continuity planning, right?
Spousal continuity planning.
If the major pension holder and Social Security holder passes away and your income goes down 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%, what's your plan? And we have that question every day. That's one of the things that we show folks on that retirement blueprint is here's what happens. Here's what happens if the husband dies. Here's what happens if the wife dies. Here's what happens if the husband goes into long-term care. Here's what happens if the wife goes into long-term care. So they can see it in black and white.
Excellent.
Because it becomes more powerful if I can see it. When I just talk about it, we're talking about it here, but I don't know that is making a difference. When you can see it in black and white, that's what you're going to get when you come to the office.
So you're going to be able to illustrate that for them and give them a copy, right?
Exactly.
So will you share with the good folks out there one more time, because believe it or not, we're coming down to the end of the show, what you can do for them when they come see you, Tim?
What we can do for you is this. We can take the world of chaos and create clarity. That's what we want to do for you. That's what the retirement blueprint will do for you. It's going to take all of your information, it's going to take your goals, your dreams, and it's going to put it in black and white so you can see it. And once you can see it, we know we can make it happen. But the first step is this. You have to take action. You have to call us. Once you do, we'll take over from there. We'll make a plan for you. We'll make your retirement the best retirement it can be.
That's good stuff. And again, it's complimentary, folks, but it's up to you to take action. I'm going to leave you with this word, dream. What have you dreamed of? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What point of our lives doesn't money touch? It's in every aspect. This has to be the priority. Pick up the phone. Give Tim and his team a call. 855-684-3485. We want to thank you for being with us. Be well and enjoy your retirement.